Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh and we are here back again with another Salesforce scenario. So the scenario is that the sales representatives for TechFuse India Private Limited Company are complaining that whenever a lead is created for their reason, could be APAC, EMEA or or America region, they are not able to basically see the lead in their region. So basically, to solve this problem, there was a solution which was suggested to you, and that is what you have to implement. So what basically you have to do is you have to create a field called reason on the lead object, which is going to be a picklist field, and the values for that picklist field are going to be EMEA, AMER, and APAC. Then you also have to create the queues, three different queues with the same name as the picklist values. Uh, where those queues will be basically for lead object. And then what you have to do is basically you have to develop a record trigger flow so that whenever a lead is created, you assign it to the correct reason, to the correct queue based on whatever the reason has been selected on the lead record. So what basically we are saying is whenever you are trying to create a lead in your Salesforce system, whenever the user is trying to create a lead and it is assigned to the specific reason, okay, the reason field is not here, we have to refresh this. I have already created the reason field. Yeah, so whenever a reason is basically assigned, whenever a reason is basically selected or changed, basically a read is created or updated and the reason field is basically changed, you have to find out what is the queue for this reason and change the owner of the lead, assign the owner of the lead to that specific queue. That is the whole scenario that you have to implement. So before we go dig deep dive into the implementation part, please go ahead, do like, share, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and also share with your colleagues so that we get motivated for creating more and more videos. Now let's get started. There are two prerequisites before we actually start implementing the flow. The number one is that you basically need to create a field called reason on the lead object, and the field is going to be a picklist field. I have already created for the purpose of demo, which is the reason field. Here you can see this is a picklist field containing the three values which we have discussed. You could have more values if you want. We have got EMEA, Americas and APAC region. And we have to create the three different queues for the lead object with the same name as the values of the picklist field. I have already created, you can see here, I have created the three different queues for the lead object. The supported object is lead. Now what basically we have to do is we have to write the flow. So let's go ahead, create a flow. Now here we are talking about whenever a lead is created or updated, right? That means we basically have to utilize apex trigger, record triggered flow, not apex trigger, right? So we will create record triggered flow and we are going to say our initial object is going to be lead. When we wanted to trigger our flow, we wanted to trigger our flow when the record is created or updated. Do we have entry criteria? As of now we don't have, because reason is the record field. For what operations you want to optimize the flow for? So if you have watched our previous videos, if you have watched our video related to the record triggered flow, you will understand that this scenario is for before record trigger. Why? Because we are updating our same record which is getting which is basically responsible for triggering the flow. So whatever is lead is basically triggering the flow, we are changing the owner of the same lead. So we will go with fast field update because we are going to change the owner of the same lead record. And as soon as you say fast field update, your flow becomes before trigger flow. Okay, so the very first thing that we have to do is we have to get the queue for the selected region. We will use get record. We'll say get record, and we'll say gr01 get queue record. To get the queue ID, what we will do is we will query on an object called QS object. QS object is the object where we are going to make the query on. What will be our filter? Our filter will be S object type equals lead. So basically we want to query on the QS object, whereas sorry, not QS object. We need to query on group object. Okay, we need to query on the object called group. So under this group, you contains both group as well as queue. So what we will say, the S object type of the group should be, do we have a subject type? No, we don't have. That is fine. We have to query on the name of the group, and we have to also add one more filter where we say that the type of group is queue. Okay, because we want to query queue record, right? We want to query whatever the queue. And what will be the name of our queue? The name of our queue will be the reason picklist field value on the lead record, on the record that is triggering the record. So we will say record dot reason, the picklist field which we have created. Only the first record we wanted to store, and we wanted to store all the fields automatically. That is fine. Now click on save, and we will say maybe we will say custom lead routing. So our flow is saved. We have get the queue record. If not found, click on add fault path, add a custom error here. We have to add a custom error, and we will say queue not found. If the queue is not present in the system for the given reason, we will give the error to the lead owner. If we have the field, we are going to throw the error on the lead owner field, and we will say queue not found for the reason, and the reason is value from record dot reason. I'm throwing the error. You could have done something different. If the queue is not found, you could have basically said that, okay, I'm going to assign it to the default queue, or I'm going to keep as it is, whoever is the default owner. It depends on the business use case, depends on the business requirement. Okay, so if queue is not found, we are going to throw the error. Now this fault path is specifically for any error while trying to query the record. And if you know that, or if you remember that, even if this get record doesn't give any records, it doesn't fail if there are no system errors, right? So we have to add a decision checkbox here also, and we will say check if queue found, and the decision outcome will be queue found. That is our outcome, and the second one will be queue not found. Okay, queue not found. How we will know that if the queue is found or not? So if the get record, which is queue dot name is null, false. If the name from the whatever result we have found, if that is not null, that means queue is found. If queue not found, we will connect this queue not found outcome to this error handling, the custom error which we have created element, so that it will throw the error. Now if queue is found, what we have to do is we just have to update the record. We just have to update the owner of our lead record. How we will do is, we'll click on plus sign, and we will select update triggering record. So let's update it, and we will say UR01, and we'll say update lead record. Which field we want to update? We want to update the owner ID field. And what will be the value? The value will be the queue which we have queried, the ID of the queue. So we will say get gr01 get queue record dot id and save. So this is a very simple flow which we've created now. And if you click on debug, let's create a lead here, select whatever the lead we want. Now this time you can see here, right, while you are debugging it, you can see which flow you want to do, a created flow or updated flow. So you can select any of those and click on run. So it says queue not found and give the error. Why it is so? Because if you go to the decision box, you can see record name is null, and if you go to the get record queue, you will see it says failed to find a record. Why? Because the reason value for the record we have selected is null, it is blank. So with the help of blank, we don't have any queue. So it has basically given us the error. So it came to this route and then it went to this queue not found. Okay, that means we are good. Now let's go ahead and click on debug again. This time we will select updated. We have already selected a lead. As soon as you select updated, you will see a edit record a specific canvas over here. You select the reason. So where is the reason field? Here it is. Let's select AMER, click on run, and this time it worked perfectly fine without any issue. It has not given any issue, right? Click on edit flow and say we are going to add, okay, no fault path is required for this. This update record does not require any fault path. Why? Because here no DML is happening. It is just updating the field, because we are running it in case of before insert or before update, the DML will not be needed. Okay, now let's go ahead and activate this to test it if it is working fine or not. Let's go to the lead. Even the lead which I have opened, I will edit it and I'll change the reason to maybe APAC, save it, and if you see, the lead owner has been changed to APAC. And if we change the reason and say save, the owner has been changed to EMEA. If I open any other lead, maybe David Monaco, go to the details and change the reason to EMEA, save it, the owner is changed to EMEA. Now if you wanted to know what are all the records which are basically under the EMEA queue, right, what are all the lead records, you can go to the lead object, and whatever the queue that you have created, there would be a list view created for each queue. So if you click on the drop down, you will see there are 3 different list view created for those queues. You select EMER, you don't find anything. Select EMEA, you find there are 2 lead records which are here. Now suppose that I want to work with this lead called David Monaco. I select this lead and I click on this button called accept. The lead owner will be changed. Now if I click on refresh, okay, it is still saying EMEA. If I click on this, okay, it's still, oh, okay. Now the problem is here. What is the problem? The problem here is that as soon as I accepted the lead owner got changed. And because the lead owner got changed, our record triggered flow got re-triggered, and it again changed the lead owner. And this is a problem, right? We cannot have the different lead owners. So how to solve this problem? To solve this problem, we will have to add a check to make sure if reason field has been changed, then only change the lead owner. If the reason field is changed, then only change the lead owner. Okay, now let's go back to our flow. Because we have already activated it, we are going to save as new version. And now before this decision, or even before get queue record, what we will do is, after the flow has triggered and before we are getting the queue record, we will add one more element here, which is going to be a decision element. Okay, and this is going to be dc00, and we will say check if the reason has changed. Okay, that is our label, and we will say reason changed and reason not changed. How do we know if the reason is changed or not? So for that, whenever your record triggered flow is configured to run at either a record is updated, or a record is created or updated, or record is deleted. Okay, irrespective of any of three is selected. Okay, you get another variable called record prior, which basically holds the value, or which basically holds the previous state of a record. So for example, if I go to the lead object and I change the salutation from Mr. to Doctor, so my record prior variable will say that in the salutation variable the value was Mr. and my record variable say in the salutation variable value is Doctor. Okay, that is basically what the record prior does. Now here we will use record prior variable. We will say record prior reason does not equal to record reason, right? Record prior variable does not equal to record reason. You can also use something called record dot reason is changed. There will be an operation called is changed, and you say true. This will let you know that if the the reason has been changed or not. Click on save. If reason is not changed, you just need to do nothing. So you just have to say end the flow from here. If reason is changed, then only do the rest of the logic. Okay, now let's debug it first before we go, because we have to debug it for both created and updated. So let's debug. First go for created. Let's select the lead David Monaco because it has a reason now. Click on run, and you see here lead has not changed. Okay, we have not changed the reason. Oh my god, what option did we selected for debug? We selected created and we selected David Monaco, and it did not run. Why? Because that is changed did not work. Let's debug again. Go to updated and update the reason from EMEA to whatever the reason, change it. Click on run. Your flow worked. Okay, so in case of update it is working fine, but in case of insert it is not working fine. So how to fix this? So to fix this, we will again edit the decision element, and instead of saying and, we are going to say or. So either reason is changed to true, or the previous value of the reason is not equal to the new value of the reason. Let's save it and try to test it and see if this works. Click on debug again, select created as a checkbox, select a lead, click on run, and this time it should work perfectly fine. Okay, click on debug again, go to updated, select updated checkbox, do not make any changes, click on run, and this time it is working as per expectations, right? That means our flow is now configured in such a way that it works clearly without any error for both insert and update. Let's go ahead and activate this now. Our flow should be activated before we start using it. Go back to the lead again, go back to the leads, go back to the EMEA list view, select a lead, click on accept, and this time the lead should be accepted by the user, who is me basically, and the lead has to be removed from the EMEA queue. You can see here, right? Now if I try to create a new lead, maybe I will say Rangaswamy, Salesforce, select a region, maybe say APAC, save it. What is the error we're getting? You're getting some error. We are not getting what is that error here. Let's try to save again. Oh, some error is coming, but we don't know what is that error. Okay, now we got the error. It says q not as okay. Yes, this error is coming because of our previous flow that we've created. It says an error occurred while creating the follow-up task. Please correct the error and try again. Here is the error. The error occurred when the flow tried to create the record invalid operation q not associated with this object type. You can look up. Okay. Now, why this error is coming? Okay, let me show you. Let me tell you why. So, in the previous video, we created a after save flow which is responsible for creating the flow, creating a follow-up task on the lead record. So this is our flow. You can see, right? When we are using transform message, we are mapping this queue. We are mapping the owner ID of the owner ID. So who is the owner? Queue is the owner, right? As per our logic, the lead owner would be the queue. So what we will do is we'll go back to the queues which we have created. So go to the queues and open any queue, whatever the lead we are creating. It is for APAC region. So let's open APAC region, edit this, and for the available objects, I am going to select task if there is. Yes, I'm going to select task, click on save. So what will happen? Whenever the lead owner will, whenever the lead owner will be APAC queue, the same queue will be the task owner as well. Let's go ahead, click on save now, and it should work. You see here, your queue is assigned to APAC, your lead is assigned to APAC. If you open the task is assigned to APAC group, APAC queue. Perfectly fine. Now you can go back to your different queues. You edit, you say AMER, you make sure you add the task here as well. And why we are doing this? Because we have another flow which is going to create the task whenever a lead is created, and that is why we are doing this. Now we have done this, it is working fine, our flow is working fine, our scenario is working fine, our testing is working fine. We can give this flow to the end users and say enjoy. So this is it for this video. Thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone for joining. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put into the comment section. And we will meet you into the next video. Till then, keep learning. Thank you.